There we go. This man really needs no introduction. He is a GSF All-Star. He is an award winner. I got his picture over here. Today is the 1st of June. Oh man, you look good, by the way.
Thank you so much.
You look alive. How is everything going?
Yeah, so right now I'm on a little official visit tour. So I just got back from Utah yesterday. Got home, slept for a cool 7 hours, and I hopped back on a plane. And now I'm in Pennsylvania visiting Penn State.
Wow. Oh, that's why it's like midnight, past midnight over there.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I know this is a busy time for you, and I saw you a couple of weeks ago at the Sarah Showcase with De La Salle. Didn't really get a chance to say hi. It was just like a quick, hey, what's going on?
Right.
But I know like social media is out there, and I've been seeing a lot of your posts, and I'm really like happy to see the activity that is happening. And just a quick review though. I mean, not too long ago, you were a Sarah Padre.
Right.
And just a little bit, everything kind of happened in a blur, right? Because
Yes, sir.
your class went through the whole COVID thing, and you got 5 games cut. Your junior season got cut short 5 games. Let's go back in time a little bit and just kind of talk about the high school days, when you started at Sarah and how things kind of transpired over there.
So going into Sarah, I was small, I was about 5'7", maybe 97 pounds. I was figuring out a position because Pop Warner, I kind of just played everywhere. That's where I started football. I kind of just played everywhere, but I hadn't known where I belonged. And my coaches who were at Sarah had advised me to play corner or receiver. So I was like, oh, receiver sounds fun because they get the ball. So I was trying to stick with receiver and whatnot. But longer down the road, farther I went, sophomore year, I was realizing that corner was a spot for me, that there was more openings and money is made at corner. And come junior year, when COVID had hit, I had been working a whole lot of receiver in the off season, and I came and I didn't get too much playing time at receiver, but I was in there at corner. And I think it was week 4 or week 3 when we played Sacred Heart, and they threw a fade on me against one of my former teammates at CSM, Tyrese. And right then and there, I almost tried to quit corner. And my coach, Monsef, the defensive coordinator, cornerback coach, he kind of pulled me aside. I almost quit corner. I literally pulled myself out of the corner room. But then he kind of toughened me up, told me that it happens, and let me know that mistakes are made. Just got to move forward. And that's when I started living with it. And then carrying on from a junior season, I kind of changed my mindset, started working a bit harder, especially in the corner aspect. And I would say I had a more successful senior year. I think I had 3 interceptions, a pick 6, whatnot. But yeah, I got better from there. But the only thing about that was my school, my grades kind of held me from a lot. And that's where CSM came along. And it's just been up from there.
Nice. Well, since you're in the subject of the academics part, what would you tell yourself back in the 2020 or 2019 as far as grades?
Do your homework and turn everything in on time. If you do those 2 things, you can at least pass with a B. You can flunk every test, but if you do your homework and on time, you'll at least get a B.
And Sarah is a tough school.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
And I really don't know how you guys do it. And I think it's one of the biggest advantage of going to a school like Sarah and playing sports is that like everything is up there. When you look back at your senior year, what are some of the most memorable moments that maybe like your top 3 moments at Sarah?
Even though we lost, I would say the first time we played St. Francis, that was a really big crowd.
Ooh.
That game meant a lot to me. Even though we lost it, I felt like I did fairly well. And it was just super energetic, really fun. Obviously, State, that trip was extremely memorable, despite the factor of the game. We all enjoyed ourselves out there, came together for the one last time, and did what we could. And then the third one, I would probably say Pally. That was my first ever Sarah interception, and I took it to the house, and
Yep.
that was a lot for me. I had been waiting for that for like 4 years, so that was fun to me too.
That was awesome. I remember the pregame of that game. We were on the baseball field. I was getting shots of you guys, and
Right,
I'm like, man, I'm something's about to go down.
right.
So I was happy for you then, man, because I know me and Coach Romero, you were at our like some 7-on-7 stuff when you were like a freshman, I think,
I was
with
like
Johnny.
14. I was like 14. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, man, that seems like such a long time ago, but I can remember you then, and it was I was just talking about the intro during the intro how it's been really nice to see you progress from the that young Sione to now the big time celebrity looking dude. I love seeing that though because I mean, I know a lot of the behind the scenes with the struggles and the hard work that you put into this, and
Right,
it's great to see that things are happening.
right.
um so when you graduated, Sarah, um what made you go to CSM, or was it, I mean, was there anything else on the table, or how was that whole process?
I
uh
mean, Sac State was definitely an option, but I thought of my value as way higher. Like I thought the only thing that really did hold me back from better offers and greater offers was were my grades, and I knew that CSM from coaches like OG or Amari Green, Coach Tulloch and Sakona, they explained to me the structure of their program and how they make sure their players are not only built for football in the field, but they're built for life. So they took us through workshops. They kind of gave us a great structure. I'm now using a planner and everything. So they help us utilize everything to become better players, better students, but overall better men.
nice. So one quick question is, are you are you the right age when you were in high school? Are you on the younger side or older side?
I was on the younger side. Even so, when I came in high school, I was 13.
Okay.
I hadn't yet been 14, so I was always like a year younger than everyone. But that wasn't really a problem. My freshman year, I was like short, but like I started to grow. But the only thing was filling out and weight and catching up to everybody. But
Yeah.
I got down there, and even at CSM, I was last season. I was the youngest on the team, but I did end up starting later on.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because you had all the tools, but it was just like it seemed like you were a little young.
Right,
It's like, man, there's a lot of room for growth.
young, body young, and everything.
Yeah, so it's kind of like being a late bloomer, I guess.
Right.
Do you remember that interception you made off Jurion?
Yeah. So he had ran a fade, and Jackson Berman thought it would be good to throw a back shoulder, and I ended up just running up to it, picking it off. Should have took it to the touchdown, but my moves got me caught up.
Yeah, I think that was, I would say, for me watching you play, that was one of the most memorable moments because I positioned myself 50-50 right on the exact spot where you picked the ball up. I thought to
Right.
myself, they're gonna throw. He's gonna throw it over here. Jurion's either gonna make a spectacular catch or Sione's gonna pick the ball up.
Right.
And it was
50-50.
like, it was perfect, man. Congratulations on that.
Yes, sir.
Um, there was a moment when you were at Sarah, when one of your teammates went down, and it was Hassan.
Right.
Um, Describe that moment and what you remember from it, because I thought that moment right there, and I have a lot of it on video, and nobody's seen this video. Okay,
Right.
it's gonna be part of the documentary. I really felt the brotherhood between you guys
Yes, sir.
when that moment happened. Just the way you guys were talking to him, especially you and Dom were like crying or something. We didn't really know how serious the injury was, but just talk about the brotherhood at Sarah and that moment going back. I don't even know if you remember that moment.
Yeah, I know. I completely remember. I have a pretty good memory. So coming into Sarah, we all came together for like this pre-summer school thing to get accepted into the school, and Hassan happened to be in there. But when he first got there, he was pretty quiet. He did not talk to any of us, and I kind of realized that, and I kind of like always pushed at his buttons, try to force him to talk. Like I always ask him a bunch of questions, and he would slowly throughout every year you could see him progress in character, like see him to come out a little more. By senior year, he started talking trash. Like you could see him get more vocal, and it was great. And yeah, no, I've been best friends with Hassan and Dom and them since we ever got to Sarah. We always clicked up. And with Sarah, the brotherhood is real, especially amongst the football team. If you're on the football team, you guys are all around each other throughout school. We were playing tag in the hallways together. We were doing some pretty crazy stuff. And yeah, no, it was real serious. So then when we saw, me personally, when I saw Hassan go down, I didn't even know what happened. I didn't know at all that he got hurt in the game. I didn't see him hurting at all because he kind of tends to hide it. He puts everything on his shoulders and tries to work through everything. And when someone had told me that he was seriously hurt, I tried to find him, and I seen him down, and I've never seen him like drop a tear or show anything less of a great character. And it hurt me for sure because he's a hardworking person. He's most deserving of anything better than normal. So then when we seen that, I started to cry a bit, and then I was just trying to help comfort him.
Man, yeah, that was a heartbreaking moment because I do think that's kind of like a turning point of the season as far as like like the team's wins and losses. But obviously things happen for a reason, and I just thought that was one of the biggest thing that happened your senior year.
Yes, sir.
But you guys fought through. I mean, you're one of the leaders on the team. What about the experience at CSM? How was that for you? I know there's a lot of Sarah Padres there too, right?
Yeah, there's about 12 of us.
So how was that experience reuniting with some of the older guys and getting there with some of the guys that you played with as a senior?
When I first got there, I was a bit disappointed at first because I was like, dang, I went from Sarah, all-time known private school, and then I went to CSM, and everyone was asking me where I'm going, where am I going, this and that. So I definitely felt that, and I can remember the first practice. It was me and Malachi Heft. We're both looking at each other with Bulldog jerseys. We were like, bro, we're really here. We were like, just what are we doing? But then, like, once you sit and realize it's not really a step back at all, it's a half step forward. So going D1 obviously is a full step, but junior college is a half step for you to get to where you eventually want to go, right? And so when we got there, we realized that, oh, it's almost the same thing. The fundamentals, all of the structure of the program from class all the way up to football was around the same. So then we just had to get comfortable and start to fit in with everybody around us, no matter the age gap and everything. But it started to work out towards the end.
Nice. Now, cornerback is a pretty tough position to, like you said, you can make mistakes. Like mistakes are going to happen. But what did you learn from that playing that position at the next level? Like, what's the main thing that you really learned? Because you must have gone against some guys that are like 2 years older than you. You know what I mean? Like, what was that like?
There's a few big pieces in the game of being a corner. One of them is confidence. Like right before a snap, I'm always thinking to myself that I'm gonna win this rep. I know what he's doing and whatnot. Because if the second you snap and like you think that, oh, what if he does this? That's when you're caught on your heels and he ends up giving you something, or you just mishandle the situation, which is a big part of the game. So my confidence drove up, but that also came up as technique came up because you're only confident when you know you're good. So you have to think about picking the ball the next play, or he could catch a touchdown. You got to think about grabbing a pick six and returning the favor. It's all about having a short-term mindset. You can't let anything affect you because the second it does, it'll be a downward slope from there.
Nice. Let's talk about recruiting now. A couple more big questions for you. So when did it really turn up for you? When did you get that first phone call or second or whatever that really made you realize like, hey, this is it's happening?
Yeah. It was February 1st, my grandfather's birthday. I was driving home from workout. So I had workouts, practice, and then I worked out on my own. And then when I was on my way home, it was pretty late. I was also picking my mother up from work. When I was heading home, I got a call from one of the BYU coaches. I had already had interest. It was Coach Jay Hill, the defensive coordinator from BYU. And he called me And he was just talking, and we were going on about recruiting. He's like, "What do you know about BYU?" I'm letting him know everything. Everything's working out well. And then towards the end of the call, he's like, "Well, what are you about to do tonight?" I was like, "Oh, it's pretty late, but it's my grandpa's birthday, so I'm just gonna go say hi and whatnot and wish him a happy birthday." He was like, "Tell him I wish him a happy birthday as well, and that I'm giving you a full scholarship to BYU." And I was stoked. That I went crazy. I almost crashed. I was driving reckless. Like as soon as he said that, I was like, "Whoa!" And they're a Big 12. They're heading into the Big 12 this upcoming season, so that's an extremely big program to receive your first my first offer in JUCO. So it kind of kickstarted everything. And from there on, after my visit, everything just started to pile up because colleges started to realize the value I hold to a program. And so my film started getting checked out by a lot of coaches, and offers just started flying in back and forth. And I just kind of sat here and let God do his work. And I'm at about 18 or 19 offers now.
And counting.
All right.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm a homer kind of guy, so when I saw San Jose State, I was like, "Ooh, San Jose State."
Right.
No, that's awesome, man. I mean, it must have been. I'm happy for you and your family and everybody around you. Who do you want to thank as far as like the people that have made a difference in your life so far?
My mother started me in football. She kind of forced me to play the game. I cried like the first 3 practices. So she really got me into the game. I wouldn't be playing football if it wasn't without her. And as of continuing to play football, it's my grandpa. He shows up to every game. He's always yelling. He has a shirt of me on at all times. And coaches, the rest of my family, of course, as well, my aunts and all my uncles. But I also like to thank Coach Walsh, Coach Mons, Coach Bell, all of them, and then especially the CSM program. Huge shout out to OG. OG is DBU, the DB guru.
That's right.
He has a lot of different names. Dragon, I don't know. He has done a lot for me from a school standpoint, like I said, football standpoint. Also, he's given me an example of what it is to be a man. Coach Sakona, our defensive coordinator, he's a bit tough on me. He sees me like a nephew. He's a bit tougher on me than the rest of the players, but I respect him for it because it helps me build into a leader, which I'm trying to be this next upcoming season. And then, of course, Coach Tolik, Coach T, the man, he runs the whole program, and he took me under his wing pretty early, and he showed me nothing but great examples. So I just like to give a big thanks to them, and thank you, of course, Alf.
Man, it's it's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you. Looking back now, though, what would you advise kids that are entering high school or just because you were I felt like you were overlooked. I mean, even we thought like like in the beginning, it's like you didn't did you see yourself being in this position like
I saw myself being a possible Power 5 defensive player, but I don't know about number 1 in the country. Like this shocks me day by day when I wake up, but I'm forever grateful for everything that's been coming my way.
Nice. But when you were like a freshman or maybe even a sophomore in high school, was this even part of your thought process? Like, did you even think about this?
I just started
trying to play. Like, were you like, man, I just want to get on the field?
Yeah, I was just kind of there. I was just kind of running the route that I was told to run and playing the coverage I was told to play. Like, it wasn't until like around my senior year when like the seriousness of football started to kick in for me, and I kind of seen it as like trying to make it my job completely.
I think you're right about that. Because for me, when I watched your team do the track test,
right,
and just blew out everybody. You showed your speed and what you could do in that track test, and I think you set some records, right?
Yeah, I currently hold the record for the fastest track test times.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah.
But I do remember that, and that's when I thought, man, I think he's about to have a really big year, and you guys did, man. So you're in Pennsylvania. What else is next after this? Like, are you going on like a bunch of official visits or?
Yeah, so these are all. This is my second one, and I have all 5 lined up. After this will be Miami, and then I have USC, and then Oregon to finish it off.
Nice. Well, I would love to catch up, and maybe like when everything is done for you and you're getting back into the training, you know, maybe we can sit down and just kind of talk about your next steps. And, you know, I would love to be there when you make your commitment, man.
Sounds great.
Got to bring it full circle.
Right.
I got to get a shirt. I got to see which college program is going to be my next favorite program.
Okay, I got you.
No, man, I'm proud of you for everything, man. It's great to see hard work paying off.
Thank you so much.
If you ever need anything on my end, like things that we do, you know, just hit me up, and you know.
Right.
That's him right there, people. Sione Laulea. Oh, man, thank you so much for making the time, man. I'm excited for the future.
Thank you for having me.